Hey everybody, it's James here from NeuralNet Games, and today we're talking about 5 games that I regret not backing, and I'm getting some serious FOMO right now. It's making me sad, and so I figured I'd make a video about it. And most of these games, I can probably go get them, but I'm gonna have to reach deep into my pocket most likely. So I just want to talk about, why I regret these, Make sure you comment below. Let me know if you've got them too. Make me feel even sadder. We'll have a little bit of fun with this. Let's get to number 5. At number 5, we've got HeroQuest. And I was born in the late 70s. And I was playing HeroQuest when it came out with my cousins, and it was just such an amazing experience back then. It was just something that there wasn't a lot out there like it. I played a lot of Dungeons and Dragons too back in the day, but there wasn't anything really like this. Like the Dungeons and Dragons I played back then was just, there was no tactical map. There was no figurines. It was just people talking about what we were doing, and you're like, no, I'm in range of that monster dungeon master. And he's like, no, you were standing way over on that hill and this orc is over here behind the tree. And you're like, okay, whatever. Come on, man. How am I supposed to know that? Anyways, we've got HeroQuest here. The miniatures, I guess they are a bit better than before. I mean, they're definitely better than before. But they're still not, super high quality. They look reasonably decent. The game wasn't that much though. I think it was like $100. Somehow I completely missed this. And I am getting some real nostalgia just looking at this. Deep inside another dimension, face battling barbarians and evil magic on a quest for adventure in a maze of monsters. This is HeroQuest, the fantasy adventure game where winning means mastering the art of combat and magic. I'm getting chills. So I really wish I had backed this one. Make sure and comment below. Let me know if you've backed it. At number 4, we have a game called Waste Nights. And this is a game about adventuring in the Australian outback. It's post-apocalyptic. It's basically Mad Max in a box. I saw this back in the day and I meant to get back to it and I never did. And this is not a really big game. This is probably flown under a lot of people's radars, and I had a chance to get it, but I didn't. And I just totally forgot about it, and it is so up my alley. Anyone remember the guy in the face mask, Lord Humongous from Mad Max 2? It's so good. And there's lots of car mechanics in this where you can repair your car and use your car and you're just adventuring. It's legacy. It's got a campaign. It's got different expansions with different, adventures. And you can't get this one right now. You go to Late Pledge and it's just Late Pledge is closed. See you later. So I don't even know where to get this one. I haven't looked on the used market, but it's probably going to be one that, most likely costs a reasonable amount of money because there wasn't a ton of backers. And it just looks really awesome overall. I like the artwork. I kind of like everything about it except for the combat. The combat looks somewhat basic, which sometimes to me can be a deal breaker. But in this case, with all of the other cool, mechanics and the actual theme, I would be able to put up with it. Let me know if you've got this one, because I think this has flown under a lot of people's radars. At number 3, we have Wild Assent and Wild Assent Lavon Rising. And this one, I actually chose not to back this one. Although I kind of wish I'd done the $1 pledge or whatever, if that's even possible on this campaign, where you could have access to order it right away afterwards, because I am getting mad FOMO on this one. When I follow a guy named Rolling Solo, he's one of my favorite content producers. When I watched his first vid on Wild Assent, I watched every single vid afterwards from start to finish because I love the theming in it. I love the combat. I love that it's got a campaign, although it's got a light campaign, etc. So why didn't I back it? Well, I had to choose between Lazy Squire's other game, Storm Sunder, and this game. And Storm Sunder, it's got a much bigger campaign. It's way more campaign focused. This has a campaign, but it's a smaller, tighter campaign, and it's more about, variable game modes. So it has lots of replayability, but I'm really a campaign guy. I love campaigns, but I just love the look of this game. It's got great minis, it's got great artwork, it's got cool classes, characters with different neat powers. I love the town phase in this too, where you've got different buildings and you can bring in, different helpers like a blacksmith to do different, cool stuff. So I really love everything about it. And Lavon Rising actually brings in more campaign stuff. And so I really wanted to back it. But, I'm on a budget on this channel, and so I went with Storm Sunder instead. But it's making me have a little knot in my stomach because it's such a good looking game. And probably out of all the videos I've watched on board games, I was most intrigued by the Rolling Solo Wild Ascent videos. Like, could not get enough of them. I watched them all basically as fast as I could. Anyways, that's it. Let's move on to the next. At number 2, we have Time of Legends Destinies. And this one, when it first came out, I was like, bleh, competitive, app-driven, boo. It just didn't really interest me. But after watching a bunch of reviews and like some seriously glowing reviews, guys like Quackalope and Board Game Co. saying it's, one of their favorite games ever, etc. The app integration is done really, really well. It's, got a lot of story in it. It's got cool branching decisions, stuff like that. But the reason I didn't get it before is that I just felt like a few years ago, I wasn't playing really any competitive games. I was just like, I don't like competitive games. I've kind of changed my stance a little bit. I do like co-op more still, but I am willing to play some more competitive games. Like, I'm going to go play some Twilight Imperium. My buddy just bought Twilight Imperium recently, so I'm going to go, hopefully play that in his basement. And I've just kind of changed a little bit. I'm still not a standard board game kind of guy. I'm more of a play board games that are similar to Dungeons and Dragons type of experiences. But this one just looks really neat. I wish I had backed it. I like games that have adventure and narrative, and I'm a little concerned about, the combat in this, whether it will be intriguing to me. But overall, I think that, just based upon the reviews and how well the app is integrated, that this is something I will like, because I like it when the world changes. I like when my choices have an impact, and that's really drawing me to this one. At number 1, we have Oathsworn Into the Deepwood. And this one I also watched a ton of videos on, and I friggin' love this game, and I am gutted that I missed it. I have been begging Shadowborne Games for a copy. The last email essentially was just like, leave us alone, we've got you on the wait list, and we'll get back to you if there's a copy that's going to be available. Because essentially I put myself on a wait list for this game. Anyways, this is a really cool D&D like experience in a box. It's got a branching campaign narrative, and I love the structure of how they've actually done the campaign. You've got this city, and you set up these tokens on the kind of city locations, and you can move from location to location, and you're gathering clues, and then you end up solving a mystery or, going on a quest type of deal where you actually go and fight this huge monster. In the videos, you go and fight this, I think it's the Rat Mother or something like that. She's a massive rat. And this isn't spoiler material. This is the first scenario. It's, it's out there everywhere. And she's got a bunch of little ratlings that you fight. I love the art style. I love the characters and classes and the cards, the powers. There's a really cool mechanic in this one. I keep saying really cool this video. I gotta stop it. There's a neat mechanic where you can play with simplified versions of classes. So if you're playing with less people, you can bring in more characters. And essentially they've got this little card, and it's a simplified version of the class so that you can play them without having all of the overhead of having a full class. But then if you want to go to 4 players, you can have the full class for those extra players that come in. It's a great mechanic. Here's the rat right here. Super detailed, really neat. I love the monster AI. The rat has essentially these little hit point spots, and as you damage them and you remove the dice from them, the rat mother's behavior changes, and it just has so much content and tons of mystery. 20 plus mystery envelopes, sign me up. It's got cards, it's got a huge storybook, it's got good narration. The narration is, I heard a sample of it, it's really good. Everything about this game, I just love it. If anybody knows how to get me a copy of this game for, you know, a reasonable price, not $800 or something, let me know how. And just so you know, yes, I am already on the wait list for a pledge, so that's not viable any further than, you know, what I've done so far. Anyways, thanks so much for watching the vid. Special thank you to my subscribers and especially to my patrons. I wouldn't be here without you.